Hello everyone and welcome back to another Marvel Crisis Protocol Battle Report. Today we have 18 threat for you of the Wakandan affiliation versus the Inhumans for their second showing on the table. We'll go into detail about the objectives, you can probably already tell are on the table, and the two crews, and get things started. Thank you for the support on the series thus far though, please do remember to continue showing it if you want to see more in the future. And with that, let's take a look at the teams and get started. So a bit of a mixed bag with the Wakanda team here. 6 miniatures, which is actually fairly rare to happen in a match of Crisis Protocol. Being led by the Black Panther and the Queen of Wakanda. Storm is here, who is Wakandan affiliation because of her history being married to T'Challa. We have Shuri, of course. Then we also have Okoye, and I guess in a sort of Falcon and Winter Soldier-esque theme with the models currently available, we also have the White Wolf, aka Winter Soldier, and then Baron Zemo. And their tactics cards: Reversal, Vibranium Shielding, Medpack, Wakanda Forever, and Advanced R&D. And for the Inhuman faction, they have swapped out Ronin and brought an X-Men instead. X-Man? I don't know, that sounds weird. Anyway, Black Bolt is still leading the Inhumans. His queen is here, Medusa. Her sister, Crystal at the back there. The ever-faithful Lockjaw, hidden behind Medusa's hair. And Beast from the X-Men, who is also part of this affiliation, I guess because he works with them. Again, I'm not really up on Inhumans. And the tactics cards being taken by them: Bitter Rivals, Elemental Infusion, Last Minute Save, Attilan Rising, and Inhuman Royal Family. And the two crises being selected today are Skrulls infiltrate world leadership and Portals overrun the city with spider persons. But it's this value being played. So the ever popular Skrulls one, there's 3 decoys on the map. One of them turns out to be the Skrull on a roll of a crit on 2 dice, which definitely always happens very soon. And then the other one is 4 portals, so one on the edge there, one on the other edge, one close to one deployment zone, one close to the other. You have to claim them by rolling against your energy defense, get more crits, hits and wilds than there are healthy enemy characters nearby to claim it. If you roll and it contains at least 1 skull, you get moved away within 2. And you score 1 victory point for every portal you're controlling at the end of the turn. 2 victory points if you have the Skrull, and your movement becomes short if you're holding it. I think that's about it. That covers everything. Don't know where everyone's deploying yet, so we'll be back at deployment to get that covered. So both sides are set up. The Inhumans are on your left, the Wakandans are on your right, and it will be Wakanda taking first activation. How many activations will they throw away trying to find the Skrull's agent? Who knows? Well, we do, because we know how this usually goes when it's on the channel, but hey, maybe this time will be different. Anyway, that about covers everything. Power phase is done already. Let's get started with first activation. So it was Storm, the Queen of Wakanda, that decided to throw her power away to get the game started. She can fly, so she hovered over for like a move and a half to get just within 1 of the potential Skrull agent in the middle there. That is the roll. No crits. She wasted her power. No Skrull agent, and that is it for her. First up for the Inhumans was Lockjaw, and his Who's a Good Boy role kicked in for having an ally within 2 of him when he activated, giving him 3 power just like that. 2 of which he immediately spent to teleport Beast within 3, so he got teleported right up the field there. That counts as one of his actions though, so for his other action he just moved small next to this Inheritor portal, Spider People portal, and spent 1 more power to convert that. Easily did, no skull, so he didn't get teleported himself, which would have been somewhat ironic. So that portal is now under Inhuman control. Baron Zemo activated next for Wakanda, as weird as that sounds. He moved forward along 1 and a tiny bit to get barely within 1 here. He spent his 1 power to check for the Skrull agent. There's his roll, so absolutely not. He doesn't have any power left to try and convert that portal either. So right now Wakanda is throwing power away on a fool's errand while the Inhumans are taking portals. Crystal activated, and for her first action moved up. She also has flight, so she just hopped the barrier right there to where you can see her. Then she made use of the Inhumans affiliation bonus given by Black Bolt to spend 1 power and give it to an allied character within 3. She gave it to Beast, so he's sitting on 2 power now. She then, because of the way elevation and whatnot works in Crisis Protocol, used Hurricane Blast, which is a range 4, although she has to be within 3 to see Storm, and at the time Storm was there so she could see her. Did that on Storm, 2 hits and a wild, which also meant push because she's size 2 or less. Storm whiffed her defense roll, 3 dice, nothing. So she took 3 damage from just a 4 dice attack, which is pretty unheard of. and now she's also been pushed further away from that central potential Skrull agent as well, so if she wants to check it again next turn, she has to waste an action moving closer. Bucky was next up, and he decided to just start securing some points. He moved in a bit to the far side of that spider portal there. He passed his check because there's nothing to beat, so he just needed one success really, no skulls either, so he has claimed that portal for Wakanda, evening things up portal wise, but still they've wasted 2 characters trying to find the Skrull, whereas the Inhumans have done 0 so far. Beast was next up for the Inhumans, and remember, he started further up the field than he normally would thanks to the dearest Lockjaw there teleporting him. So he moved once, particularly important how he positioned himself lest he get knocked away by Shuri potentially. So he backed himself right into the corner there. He spent 1 power to check for the Skrull agent. There's the roll. Skull doesn't do anything on that. Skull only does something on the portal. He then spent his other power on the portal, getting it nice and quickly because he's only defense 2 against energy, so he's only rolling 2 dice. But he got it, so it is a little awkward because those are meant to be on top of each other, but the Inhumans have also claimed that portal. T'Challa was next up, and he followed after Zemo to do the same thing, but he got double crits, so he found the Skrull agent twice, which I feel like should confer an extra point, but whatever. He has found that this is indeed the Skrull, as the portal gets knocked slightly. So that is now on T'Challa. He can only move small, which is a little bit bad for him because he's a fast character and can move long, but he can still leap as well. He's now priority target because he's holding a target civilian, well, Skrull, worth 2 victory points at the end of the turn. Black Bolt activated. He moved up medium to the corner of the scenery element there, and he fired an energy bolt at Black Panther, who was obscured by the corner here. It's a bit hard to tell how tall it is when you're at that angle, but as you can kind of see there, he is obscured, so he got cover, so 1 automatic success, and he took no damage from the energy bolt. So it is over to Okoye or Shuri, and then back over to Medusa for the Inhumans. Okoye double moved to get over to the portal that Beast caught for the Inhumans. She spent her 1 power to try and convert it and failed. Not even because Beast still being present there, she just did not roll any hits, crits or wilds. So no conversion there, which is a shame. Back over to Medusa to end the turn for the Inhumans, and then back over to Shuri. So Medusa certainly showed why the Queen of the Inhumans is a dangerous person indeed. First action, she has Wall Crawler, so she just moved along here to where you can see her somewhat precariously balanced with how weird her hair is. She did a Braid Bash on Black Panther. It did 1 damage, but she got the Flurry, so she gets to do a free second one on him. And this time he also spent 1 for the Wakanda affiliation to reroll 1 of his defense dice. Did not help. 2 damage went through from that. So after all that, she spent 3 power that she generated from these attacks to do Hair Flip, picked him up, threw him into the barricade here, and that did another 1. So despite T'Challa's best efforts, he just took 4 of his 6 health from an exceptionally dangerous Medusa, and I don't think there's anything that can help him this turn, and they're not getting first activation next turn, which is not good. So to see off the first battle round, Shuri just copied Okoye, double moved over to this portal here, tried to claim it, got 1 success, but with Beast's presence there, that was not enough, and that does take us to the scoring for battle round 1. So here is the board state at the end of battle round 1. The Inhumans claim 2 portals. They have this portal here, and they have this portal here for 1 victory point each, putting them at 2. This portal over here remains utterly unclaimed as my dog disappears. There she goes. And Wakanda has just 1 portal over there for 1 victory point, but of course Black Panther barely held on to the Skrull for 2 victory points, meaning that as we go into battle round 2 with the Inhumans going first, the Wakandans have a 1 point lead, 3 plays 2, and I think things are not going to go well for Black Panther. So battle round 2 got started with Medusa once again doing a third over the course of 2 turns. Braid Bash on Black Panther. It would have to, the first one did no damage, so, and had no flurry, so she had to do a second one using her other action. This one did 1 damage. It was going to do 2, but then he spent 1 power on Wakanda's affiliation bonus to get a reroll on a defense die, which allowed him to take only the 1, leaving him on 1 health of course. So she had no choice but to spend 3 power, which is exactly how much she had, to pick him up again with Hair Flip and chuck him into this thing here. That did 1 more damage, so Black Panther is dazed. Now he dropped the Skrull because he's dazed. Also in general just some very unlucky defense rolls for him incidentally. but she has no power to pick it up, so it has been placed within 2, i.e. in base-to-base contact with Black Bolt, but that is going to force potentially Baron Zemo's hand, depending. So with only 1 power on him, Baron Zemo had to make some decisions, and this is the one that was made. He moved his long to get barely within 1, just as far out from that as he can possibly be, just touching range 1, to spend his 1 power to pick up the Skrull agent that was next to Black Bolt. His movement becomes small, so he then retreated and ran away as far as small would take him, which is right where you see him, not close enough to do anything or even contest that portal. But given that Medusa is activated, the only immediate threat is Black Bolt, so that does give him a chance to live and maybe let Storm come over and back him up. So Black Bolt activated, he stayed where he was and fired 2 energy bolts against Baron Zemo. The first one did literally 0. The second one not only rolled well but had a couple of wilds in there for pierces to affect his defense rolls and did a massive 4 damage to him. Not enough to make him drop the civilian or get dazed, but still enough to hurt. Storm activated, and from up on the platform she flew medium twice down here right next to this portal. She spent 1 power to check the portal, managed to convert it, skulls rather, to get teleported, and she also played Medpack on Baron Zemo. We've seen this card many times before, it's very powerful. You spend 2 to heal 3 on a character or yourself within 3. Healed 3 on Zemo, so he's just got the 1 damage, and everyone over this table quarter, or half, has activated, so it isn't likely that that portal is going to be changing. Lockjaw activated and began his turn within 2 of Crystal, who was originally there, for Who's a Good Boy to give him 3 power, 2 of which he spent on 1 action to teleport Crystal within 3 of her current position, so she's now in a dangerous position of there with 2 actions when she does eventually activate. He then just moves small towards Beast to potentially back him up or get him out of trouble if he needs to, and did nothing else. Okay, we're zooming in for this one a little bit just to get a better angle. Shuri activated and she repositioned herself so that she could push Beast away with more ease, and that is exactly what she did with her Panther Gauntlet. She rolled a bunch of dice for that. It's like 5 energy dice, but it only ever does 1 damage. But more importantly, it did push Beast back small. He did take 1 damage from it, which is no longer there. It's on his card already. She then spent 1 power to convert that spider portal to the Wakandan affiliation and succeeded. So we are staying over here because Beast activated next. Totally forgot to mention he did get an extra power generation from disconcerting yet provocative for his defense roll having a skull in it. Now he only has 2 energy defense, so he can't actually beat 2 healthy characters on an objective. So instead he did a sneaky move. He double medium moved down here behind Bucky and tried to take the portal. He needed 2 successes on his 2 dice he's rolling to steal it from him, and didn't do it this time, but that does throw a little bit of the spanner in the works because Okoye and Shuri are now kind of doing nothing over in the corner. So Okoye was next up for Wakanda, and she was in a bit of a sticky situation about what to do because Crystal was the last one to go for the Inhumans. She's right there, but she moves long, so she could try for that portal, she could try for that portal, she could try for that portal. She can reach any of them from where she's standing if she's willing to double move. So Okoye, in order to make that one hard to grab this turn, stayed where she was. Lockjaw was within 4, so she did the most heinous act of attacking the best boy and did 2 Vibranium Spear Blasts. The first one got through for 2, the second one got through for 1. Lockjaw has 3 health remaining and now has a bunch of power sitting on him. So Crystal opted the best portal to go for was here because she could reach it in 1 long move, being within 1, and that meant she could attack. And she attacked. Storm forgot to leave the damage sitting there with her Hurricane Blast again. All said and done, it got 2 damage through, which was exactly enough to daze the Queen of Wakanda, sadly. She then spent 1 power and did convert that portal because Zemo isn't close enough to contest, so it was just a case of getting a success. So she did, and now it is over to Bucky to end off Battle Round 2. So Bucky stayed where he was. He turned around and shot his assault rifle into Beast's face twice. The first one did nothing. It's only a 4 physical attack, but that said, the second one had a couple of crits in there, and the defense roll had nothing but a skull and blanks, so disconcerting yet provocative gave Beast an extra power. But he did also take 4 damage, plus the one he was already sitting on. He is at 5 of 6, so he isn't dazed, but is obviously very close to doing so. And that does take us to the end of Battle Round 2. So then in Battle Round 2 we have 2 people flipping over their cards, of course, the King and Queen of Wakanda. Victory points wise, the Inhumans hold the back portal there, and they hold the portal here for 1 victory point each, putting them at 4 in total, because that's 2 on top of the 2 they had. And Wakanda managed to hold on to, thanks to Baron Zemo, the Skrull for 2 victory points, and they also hold 2 portals. So they gained 4 that turn, putting them at 7 ahead of the 4 that the Inhumans have, As we go into Battle Round 3 though, it is the Inhumans getting first activation. So Battle Round 3 got started with Medusa once again showing why she is so dangerous. She did a Braid Bash on Baron Zemo. It did 4 damage. He is dazed. She paid 1 power to pick up the Skrull Agent, so she is now holding it and he will not be getting a turn this battle round. She got the Flurry, so another Braid Bash was done on Black Panther. He ended up taking 1 damage, all said and done. And then she's holding the Skrull Agent, so her movement becomes small. She retreated slightly next to her husband to form a powerful defense line to hold on to that Skrull. Storm activated first for Wakanda and she was a little mad. Now it didn't get played immediately, but Wakanda Forever was played, so any Wakanda affiliated, which is anyone except Baron Zemo I guess, because Bucky has a role that makes him count as it, but he didn't do it either way, but still. Any number of Wakanda characters can spend 1 to play this card, so Black Panther, Storm, Okoye, Shuri all spent 1 and they can do a 0 cost attack. It's a big potential game turner if it works out, and at least in one particular instance it worked out amazingly well. So first of all, Storm spent 1 power to try and convert this portal and did. She moved medium over here. She did Hurricane, which is an area 2, it does not affect allies, and enemies with fly automatically take 1 additional damage when all said and done, which is just as well because she did no damage. So Black Bolt took 1 automatic damage because he can fly. Then Wakanda Forever got used. Black Panther did his basic strike on Black Bolt and did an amazing 6 damage, much more than was required to daze him, so he's not getting a turn, but when he flips over his card he's getting access to Whisper and he has enough to do it, which might be good or bad. Medusa took 3, she's still standing, she didn't have any damage prior, so she's got 3 left. Okoye fired her shield, or spear rather, at Lockjaw, did nothing. Shuri used her just Panther Gauntlets, it hit, got through easily, pushed Lockjaw back and hurt him for 1 damage. So a lot done there, but the Skrull Agent was still held on to. So Crystal activated next. She spent 1 power to convert this portal and succeeded in turning it back into the Inhumans affiliation. She then used 2 of her elemental attacks, the Air Blast and Hydrokinesis or whatever it's called, both on Black Panther, and neither were able to do damage or anything else beyond that. So although she did get the portal, she has not stopped T'Challa from potentially stealing that Skrull back from Medusa. So we actually jumped over here next. Bucky activated. He tried to do just his basic rubbish 4 physical assault rifle attack on Beast, but his roll was more on par this time and took no damage, so then he had to spend his power on Red Fury, 7 physical dice. That got 2 through, and Beast is no longer getting a turn this activation, of his battle round rather. So because of all the knockouts, there was only Lockjaw left for the Inhumans, and he was too far away from anyone for Who's a Good Boy, which is just tear-jerking. So he moved positions. He is contesting this portal that has stayed in Humans since turn 1, but it's very strategically close enough that he could play last minute save on Medusa if need be. Nothing else for them to do. So it is over to Black Panther, Okoye and Shuri, who all just get to go and then take us to the end of the turn. Shuri moved forwards medium to where you can see her. She used her Panther Gauntlets, range 5, so well within, on Lockjaw. 6 dice, 5 dice, however many dice, way too many dice, but it only ever does 1 damage. Now that said, her attack roll was so bad she spent 1 to use Super Genius, where at the calculate success step you can choose to count blocks, shields, instead of hits. You still count everything else as normal, but those swap. So she did that to make sure it got through. Lockjaw took 1 damage, he's on 1 health remaining, and got pushed back small. So it was down to Okoye and Black Panther. Okoye just double medium moved towards where the action is, so nothing much to cover there. Black Panther's turn though, that was a doozy. He used pounds, which means he is thrown small, so he chucked himself into Medusa, and as you'll see there's a lot of different stuff over here. He got chucked into her, she whiffed her dodge roll, took 3 damage, which was enough to get her to her cap, because she had 3 damage, and then, as expected, last minute save was played by Lockjaw. She gets placed within 1 of him, and then she gets put to 1 away from death instead of actually being dead, as a reactive, which did happen. So he hadn't used any of his actions yet, because that was a superpower to pounce, so he moved next to both of them. He spent 3 for an explosive force, or whatever it's called. What is it called? It's his kinetic burst. Yes, kinetic burst, that's the one. 3 power for a 6 energy attack that you can boost as well. I think he put 1 into boost. Either way, it did much more. It only needed to do 1, but this was just to roll a lot of dice to guarantee it got through, and hopefully to get a wild, because that was important. Did it on Medusa, did 5 damage, only needed to do 1, so she's dazed. Anyone within 2 of her also takes 1 damage, because it's a big kinetic burst, and Lockjaw took 1 and was also dazed, so 3 Inhumans dazed in that turn, and that's where Okoye ended up. Oh, he also spent 1 power to pick up the scroll that she dropped, and 1 power to convert that portal. Really, really good turn from T'Challa there, taking us to the end of Battle Round 3. So yeah, Beast, Black Bolt, Medusa and Lockjaw all flipping their cards over. They're getting first activation in Battle Round 4, but that hurt. Not only that, they only gained 1 victory point from holding that portal, whereas Wakanda has claimed 3 of the 4 portals for 3 victory points, and of course Black Panther stole the Skrull agent back for 2 victory points, giving them 5 that turn. So as we go into Battle Round 4, it is 12 playing 5 in Wakanda's favour. So Black Bolt got the battle round started because he can use Whisper, he had enough power. He moved medium, it's a beam 4, which is down there. If there was any size 2 scenery it would have exploded it because of the impact of him speaking. It's a 9 energy attack. Not super great results honestly, the rolls were okay, the defense rolls were also okay, so it kind of balanced out. Black Panther ended up taking 3 damage, that's him at 4 in total. Yeah, 4 in total on his wounded side. He did get staggered though, so he's only getting 1 action. Okoye did much better with her roll, she only took 2 damage, but is also staggered because of the wilds on each roll against him. So that was all he did. Black Panther's only getting 1 action in his turn, which means he's not going to get away, so he might just stand and fight, I guess. So Black Panther activated and his first action was to shake the stagger. Vibranium shielding was then used by him, either he or Shuri can use it, where X is the number you choose to spend. He spent 2, so him and any characters within range 2, any friendly characters, sorry, allied characters, they get the invulnerability command, which is when they would suffer damage, they reduce the amount suffered by 1 to a minimum of 1. He then spent power on Pounce, which is an action, so, sorry, it's not an action, it's a superpower, so he threw himself small roughly there, and then for his actual 1 action, he moved small because he's holding the Skrull agent to there, next to Shuri. So currently I think Okoye is just within 2, so I think all 3 of them have the invulnerability roll currently. So we'll kind of leave that there just to remind us. And they're not far enough away that they can escape the murder, death, kill that is Medusa, but she will have to move to get after them at the very least. So Medusa activated, she moved forwards medium, so she was within 1 of this portal and did convert it, so that has changed back to Inhumans. She then spent 3 on hair flip to chuck Okoye to the side into the barricade here for 1 damage. That was just to get her out of bodyguard range, in case you're curious. She then did a braid bash on Black Panther, but whiffed. It was all blanks and skulls except 1 hit, which he easily blocked, so not even a flurry. It's the first bad roll she's had all match, because she's been doing fantastically. And at the last possible moment, she has potentially, like, if Black Panther gets away with this, I think that's basically game. So that was really bad. Baron Zemo activated and he did 2 steel rushes, so that's why he's slightly repositioned from where you saw him, on Crystal. The first one did 1 and a bleed, the second one did 2. She's still very much alive, she is bleeding. He spent 1 more to try and convert the portal and did fail. So we're staying over here because of a Hail Mary attempt by Crystal to take out Black Panther. She moves long, she covered ground there, that put her within 4 to use the Hydrokinesis attack, or whatever a War Element attack is called. She did it on Black Panther and he fully blocked the damage. Took nothing, she's bleeding, she'll take 1 at the end of the turn. That still leaves her on 1 unless she gets attacked again. And let's see, that also just leaves Beast. He can reach Black Panther in 1 move, so there is still a chance. Storm did her basic 0 cost 4 energy lightning bolt on Crystal, all said and done, and did 1 damage, so at the end of a turn she is now dazing because the blood will take her out. She then moved next to his portal, spent 1 power and did successfully convert it back to Wakanda. So now it's over to Beast and he's got some decisions. I don't think he has any kind of push, does he? Or does he? Actually, because his basic goals are, can he get rid of the Winter Soldier, can he convert that portal, can he then move, and then can he take out Black Panther. He doesn't even need to pick up the Skrull, just make him drop it. I guess we'll see. Oh, we still have Lockjaw as well, actually, who will get his extra power, although he's basically on full power. He's only got a bite. He could teleport himself. He might be... Oh, no, bite's range 2, isn't it? I don't think they can get to him. I think it is just down to Beast. So step 1 of Beast's plan, given that he only has 2 energy defense, worked. He did baser instinct, so he picked up Bucky and chucked him just purely to get him out of the way so he didn't have anyone contesting. So he just needed one success, which he got. He then medium moved. He can climb stuff, so it was easy enough to get up here. He did his basic attack because it's range 3, so it could reach Black Panther, and he did 2 damage, but thanks to vibranium shielding and invulnerability, it got brought down to 1, so Black Panther stayed conscious. So that is basically, that's it now. The Wakanda is going to get to 6 because nothing that Lockjaw can do can stop it. Okoye could technically try and take that portal, and Bucky can take that one. Lockjaw could try and take it back, which I guess will quickly play out, but yeah, there's nothing to stop Wakanda taking this now. Yeah, so that's how that played out. Okoye only had 1 action, but she was close enough to try and convert it. She did. Lockjaw moved back, managed to successfully convert it back on his 3 energy defense dice. And then over here, Bucky moved over to this portal and converted it back to Wakanda as well, and that is a game. So with only holding 1 portal there, that is only 1 more victory point for the Inhumans, bringing their total score to 6, which is very unfortunate. They were starting to definitely wear down the Wakandan side, but not quickly enough. And as for the official score for Wakanda, they of course have the other 3 portals, so 1, 2, 3. That takes that would have taken them to what, 15, so 1 away from winning. Black Panther, he held on to the Skrull Agent, which takes them to 17, 1 over the 16 required to win. So they do take it in what was a very violent match. So in the long haul here, I think the Inhumans would have taken it. They have a lot more punching power than Wakanda does. The fact that Black Panther survived all he did, and if vibranium shielding hadn't been a last minute thought, he would have dropped it. We would have seen it, like, they probably still would have won. Because, let's see, if they didn't have the Skrull, whether Beast picked it up or not, they would be on 15, so the next turn they'd have to score just 1. They'd have to hold a portal or get the Skrull Agent back. Even if they start getting whittled down, like say if Storm and Black Panther both got taken off the table, Bucky could consolidate over here, help Zemo out. They could have held 1 portal, is what I'm saying. So even if it hadn't been like a stroke of luck with vibranium shielding being on, I think it still would have been Wakanda's game here. The Inhumans definitely pack a punch. Medusa is terrifyingly powerful. She got unlucky on not getting the flurry on that last braid bash she did. If she had, it might have been enough, which again would have turned the tide for that turn. Crystal, I don't know, she didn't get to do her elemental infusion. She just kind of milled around, but her long movement makes her threatening in terms of objective irritating, because she can just like be roughly in the middle of the board. Thanks to long movement, she can get to any single objective, and that kind of forces you to keep people hanging back. Like Okoye and Shuri had to hang back even after Beast went after Bucky, just because there was that chance Crystal could have tried to sneak in and take that portal. So interesting. Not as close as I thought points wise by the end, but the battle felt like it was close, even though the victory points weren't. Anyway, sincerely hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you for doing so. See you next time. Ta for now.